been using it for every application that sort of I end up doing, right, to say basically see my strengths and my weaknesses and what words or keywords are not included, or asking them to, like, help out. But then anyone that's not in project management, or I guess even if you're in project management and you want to go to a different sector or organization, right, it's just highlighting the transferable skills. So this is going to be like a really good way to basically highlight your transferable skills and make us realize, because sometimes people send me their CV, they're like, oh, I don't have project management experience. I'm like, you done planning, you done organization, you done leadership, you had difficult stakeholders. So you basically have, right? So we just don't realize. I've been actually been organizing my job hunting in money.com, and it's been making my life so much easier in terms of chasing, in terms of, like, knowing the numbers, knowing the contact details, knowing the role name. Because even sometimes, if they ask what salary you want, it's so, in reality, it'd be nice if I applied to two, but look how many roles there is. Look how many roles I have to apply to, right? Remember,
That is,
it's
mm,
just ridiculous, right? So this is why I've been organizing it, and I put even some automations in. So for example, if I do something like, because I'm not really looking for perm work at the moment. So let's say if I change the outcome to perm role and it automatically does a automation for me, and it sends it here to the permanent role pool. And I guess essentially, I'm not really fussed about these, but since I got project work takeover, and everyone always sort of asks where they can find for roles, I thought if I just keep a list of these permanent roles, I can pass it on to anyone that's interested, or if I ever decide to go back. So this is why basically I've been organizing it, and to be honest, guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's made my life so much easier in terms of knowing who to chase, in terms even um, dates in here, right? So it's like essentially, and you see, I applied to this 22nd of July. Right now, I need to obviously chase them and in reality find out what the status is, because potentially I'm not sure if from 22nd of July that's still live. You know how contracting world is, everything lasts so quick. So yeah, it's been making it easier. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I can share the link to the recording, and I'll even put stuff like office days, again, like graduate opportunities and stuff, because again, I don't need them anymore, because but still people join the community, so that I can just filter it on graduate opportunities. So anyone that says yes, I can share them. So yeah, how I think definitely if you are job hunting, have a think if you do want to organize it, and then essentially what happens, these are roles, and then if, like, let's say the role's no longer live or something like this, automation sends them to the recruiter pool. So now it's like in a week I would extract this, because you can extract this in Excel and you can paste it in your email, and then you basically send them a chaser email like, hi, has any more roles popped up? And any recruiter I've been speaking to, they're just like, gee, listen, you just need to keep on our minds, if that makes sense, because a lot of the roles that get posted, a lot of the roles, I already got a person in mind, so it's more just establishing the networking. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, the roles that I've actually spoke about, or let's say progressed any, has been because I went a bit psycho and um stalked them for the details and stuff and got in touch with them, if that makes sense. So I do think that's like the most important thing, to actually stalk them and get their information. And yeah, annoyingly, but yeah, so that's what basically I've been doing. And every time I spouse them, like, what can I do? What can I do different? They're like, listen, there's nothing more. Like, you're on our minds. You keep chasing us. You keep getting in touch. Even if you apply online, drop them an email and say like, hi, I'm just bringing some attention to my CV, because I get 100 applications. And the people that end up calling me back, they're always like, oh, gee, actually, well, your tactic worked, because look, now I'm calling back. Or actually, even the public sector, she obviously, if I just applied online, she wasn't gonna take me. But because I left her voicemail and stuff, she really liked me. She really liked the way I kind of chased her. So she actually, even if it wasn't even for that, I would not even been considered, because they were even said like, I don't want to speak to no one outside public sector, right? So I feel like that relationship is basically the only way forward nowadays, which is annoying. But then I guess that's what, if we have to do, that's what we have to do, right? So yeah, just I thought I'll quickly show you this just so you have an idea. I'm sure you guys know about Chat GPT. I will say this one thing I've noticed: the free version is becoming less and less. He doesn't do as good as he used to. I'll be telling him to change certain words. He doesn't want to listen to me. He doesn't amend stuff as much as he used to at the start. But it's because now they got a paid version, and obviously, and obviously they don't really care about the free version anymore, right? So definitely have a look. There's still other bunch of AIs as well, but ChatGPT, it's a he, because the way he's disappointing me. But it is becoming tiny bit, as I've been using it for a long time now. I've noticed in the free version is ChatGPT 4.0 apparently. If you want to pay, is it 15 or 19 pounds a month? Apparently the difference that it gives you in content is mwah. So I'll just highlight that. Just recruiters have told me they don't want CVs in PDF anymore, because one, if they're recruiters and they send it to other people, they take out actually your information. They say your stuff so they don't bother us. I guess it's small so they don't. If you got it in PDF, another thing I've noticed, once I changed it to Word, I was getting more responses, and apparently what's that algorithm thing that reads it has been recognizes Microsoft words more than PDF for some reason, right? So what I would do here is, and then as well, I would put your LinkedIn. But what I'll do is, maybe I can share. I met with one of the recruiters, and he gave me a new template for the CV, for like a contractor one, and again, that's made a big difference. And even when I read my old CV to my new one, I'm like, wow, it is much smoother. So I'll post this. It's literally just your CV. He's gonna come back and tell you about your profile. First, when you do that, read and have a look if this profile and this key skills basically outline what the job spec wants, right? Because I mean, this is like a really good one. Highly experienced and motivated sales manager with expertise in high-end tailoring compliance roles. My sales management background combined with law business degree has equipped me with comprehensive understanding of UK visa and immigration departments, key responsibilities and requirements. My full understanding of these processes have enhanced my administration coordination skills, complementing sales abilities. I excel in leadership and building an effective communication across all our managing business accounts, right? So if this is in the job spec and this is what your CV is coming back, you're doing a great job. But let's say if in the job spec they will have something more about finances or something like that, and it's not showing up, it just means we need to tailor it a bit more to basically know what is coming back, right? And even now with this key skills,
did you put a
yeah?
Sorry, did you put a prompt in, or did you just cut and paste the CV straight in?
This one is actually straight CV. You don't, I think people been doing it so long now that you don't need a prompt. For this one, you just paste the CV and he gives you anything. And you can actually do that with anything. I actually even posted my assessment this morning just to get an overview. Even a job role, if you post in here just like that, it'll give you like the main skills, everything. It's just, I guess it gives you an overview. And here is highlighting your main skills and everything, and your professional experience. So basically, first have a look if basically all this experience and your key skills basically come back as with what we want. But because the way he reads it, that means, let's say their systems might read it like that and a person might read it like that too, right? And you know how you say like, oh, you're in sales management, you don't really have project management experience. Like, compliance is really big aspect of project management. Law is really good for regulations and everything that we do. And then requirements as well. We do loads about things about requirements, right? So even just from looking at it, I know exactly we could rephrase it. And yeah. And then my thorough understanding of these processes and enhance my administration coordination skills. We got loads of administration skills, from even creating the project plans, everything, coordination. So long story short, this already I can see is gonna have loads of thing. So now I'm gonna be like to him, act.
Sorry, can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
Sorry. So the thing is, right, in that, when you just put it in ChatGPT there, and I've just read that profile part, because my current role is London sales manager, but then my previous role was I was in compliance for a university because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's two very different roles. So I'm almost thinking on the profile, do I focus more on the sales part, or do I focus more on the compliance part, or is it, again, you tailor it for the role that you're going for, right?
I would basically,
Because
yeah,
because I don't want to think that my current role I've already done 2.5 years,
yeah,
and the previous role probably just under.
yeah. I
Because that
would,
almost reads like, oh, you've done tailoring, you've done sales, and then you've done immigration, and you've done this, and
yeah,
so
yeah. I would definitely tailor it more to the role. So, if it's more a compliance heavy role or if it's more a sales heavy role. And I feel like as soon as you open a job spec, you'll probably recognize, right, which is the heavier side. Or like, you might not need to put like, let's say, understanding of UK visa immigrations department key responsibilities, but you could say have an understanding of UK um I don't know, UK government or something like that, right? Just shorten it up. So I would emphasize on whatever it is. So for example, some of my CVs, they talk about governance, but it's like 1, 2 words. Whereas the interview I had today, because it's so governance heavy, I had governance in everything. I changed my key skills. I always change. So let's say yeah, I think again, definitely have a look at the job spec and see what they're more willing to accept. And have some in there. And then actually, that's another thing. When I'm connecting to recruiters, I like tell them like, yeah, I sent you this to CV. However, can I actually see the job spec? Because I bet I hit every single thing on the job spec. However, it's impossible for me to include everything. There's only so much space we have on here, right? So I would tailor it, seeing which skills align better with the job spec, if that makes sense. But yeah, then I add up a prompt. Actually, another good thing for ChatGPT as a hack is, if you're not sure what prompts to use, be like, hey, I want to find out how to improve my CV. Suggest which prompts I should use, and then he's gonna give you a whole list of all the prompts. And it's not just for CV, for anything. Anything, you just ask him, can I get which prompts do you think would give me a good answer for XYZ? And he's gonna give you loads of different prompts. And then I always like to just tell him, be like a professional recruiter or a project manager or something like that, because he starts thinking different. It's weird, but I don't know why he's like that. Project manager, and outline which of the skills and experience are transferable to project management. So can you see already he's giving you good keywords like relationship building, project management applications, so building and maintaining strong relationships with stakeholders, team members and clients to ensure smooth project execution and stakeholder satisfaction. Because technically in sales, all your sales are kind of basically like a project as well, right? So you can start using these words if it does actually outline it, but all about stakeholders, communication skills. You've got great, effective and written communication. Actually, another thing I would add, for the salesperson, we are very good at convincing your stakeholders to buy the vision, right? And you're also obviously going to be better at negotiating, which is crucial for us in project management, because we negotiate with suppliers, we negotiate with resources and their salaries, right? So automatically, that's the thing. And then leadership, so you've led teams, in your CV, provided direction, motivation and support to achieve project objectives or project goals. I mean, if you feel like you don't want to use the word project, you could just take out and say objectives or goals. But then, technically, like I said, if you start really thinking about it, what you did was project. And, you could even treat every sale as a different project. You can treat different quarters as a different project, right? So, and I feel like in sales, you're more agile. You don't plan long term. You guys go as you, like in iteratives. So technically that's even agile, right? So here, here you go then. Negotiation with stakeholders to manage scope, budget, timelines, influencing team members to support project goals. And here, we have data analysis. You obviously analyze a lot of data. Data is crucial for us. But what I would add is from data analysis to reporting to senior stakeholders, aka like you use the data to provide reports, because we got a lot of reporting. Identify and manage project opportunities, clients, accounts, ensuring client satisfaction and project profitability. So that's like a really good one actually as well, because client accounts is huge, right? Using Excel for project planning, budgeting, and I'm sure everyone's used Excel, if that makes sense. So put it in there that you manage risks or plans in it in thing. I think as well what's been making me stand out more in my applications is project management tools. So start using stuff like Monday.com and Trello and kind of putting in your CV, because to be honest guys, I'm not gonna lie, every organization I've been in, the tools are completely a bit used different, or like, you know, so you have to kind of familiarize yourself with it anyway. So definitely start putting tools in there, and it's like a great way to stand out, if that makes sense. Or if you worked in finance, Oracle is huge in project management. IDM is huge. Salesforce, was it Asana and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say try and put as many project management tools in there as possible. But you know, I always tell people I can give you all the keywords to even put in your CV that will make you the best CV. But if in the you know, in the interview they ask you how did you use Monday.com for retrospectives, and you're sitting there like right, it's just not doable. So put any tool that you can familiarize yourself with, or you at least know how to at least manage, I don't know, risks in one tool, or plans in there, or governance artifacts, or at least, you know, the task for your project or whatever you was working in. And Monday.com actually is used highly in sales. So technically if you put it under your sales experience, they wouldn't even really think that it's not doable. However, you need to know how it works. You need to know what it shows, right? You need to at least know the basics of it. So let's say if they do ask you a question, you don't get left out. So I would say add as many project management tools as well if you're looking for project management, but don't just start lying, you know, actually familiarize yourself with them tiny bit. I will say majority of the tools, they look different. Let's say Trello and Monday.com looks different, but and Asana, but they kind of same vibe, if you get what I mean, what they show. Confluence is completely different. That's like Wikipedia for project management. MS Project, it depends. Some people just use it for plans. We use it for timesheets and plans. So yeah, there's so many different tools that we use in project management for so many different things. So I think mention them, but don't get caught out and feel a bit silly. Or at least just know through examples of the tool that you put in. So let's say if they say, how did you execute this tool, or you know, how did you use it, you're able to articulate yourself, right? I know here you could put, what's this, creating and implement sales strategies translates to developing executing project plans. True. Establishing client relations and managing accounts payroll, stakeholder management, reporting to the MD and forecast aligns with project status reporting. So can you see if the way he easily outlines? And then in the end, he gives you a summary. In sales, compliance, and management roles, has equipped him with versatile skill set that is highly transferable to project management. His abilities in relationship building, communication, leadership, negotiation, and data analysis are critical to successfully manage projects. His professional background demonstrates consistent track record of strategic planning, stakeholder management, process optimization, which are all essential competencies in project management. And you know, if you do work in project management, you know exactly how important these are. And that's why I think project management is beautiful, right? All of us have project management skills, we just don't realize them. So it's more changing it. So now what I could be like, I would be like, thank you, could you now tailor my CV to project manager roles? And he's actually going to come back and give it to you. Sometimes I will say, be careful just copy and pasting it. He puts, it's like the stuff that he puts is correct, but sometimes he doesn't put it in the correct parts, if that makes sense, right? Or sometimes he would say, like, I implemented PMO in one organization, whereas it's the other one. So just make sure, and actually I'll use it for cover letter, guys. I applied for Barclays. Afterwards, I'm reading my cover letter. Sometimes when you put a cover letter, like in brackets, it would be like, enter the organization's name. Down below, enter the organization's name. So it's like, you know, it makes it like specific to the org. Guys, I didn't see one of them. So it's like I literally submitted a cover letter that said, you know, enter the organization's name. So as soon as they see that, obviously, I'm not good at paying attention. I'm using Chat GPT, and I'm not even fully reading it and paying attention to it because I'm sending it just out, right? So just make sure. Or my trick is now be like, hey, write a cover letter for Barclays, and you know, so now automatically he puts Barclays in there. Because,
I've got a question.
yeah.
So I'm halfway through a foundations of project management course on Coursera. Yeah, now it's done. It's by Google, right? They give this course for free. Now I haven't completed all the modules yet, but I'm on module 4.
Yeah.
right? Now, if I'm still doing it and I'm almost finished,
Yeah.
do I wait until I'm completely finished and then add it to my CV, or do I say, look, this is what I'm doing currently?
So certifications is a weird one, unless it's like really paid for. And I used to have a list of them, but the recruiters was like, no, you need to highlight it in your experience. So, for example, let's say if one of the I don't know, let's see which one.
Well, I haven't quite completed the whole course yet. I'm still in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it depends, right? If you feel like you've learned enough from the course, and let's say if there's a point on here about risk management, and you can say executed great risk management by including components from da course, right? If you know what it is, I definitely would say put it in there, if that makes sense. And then
Yeah,
hopefully
because structure. Yeah, because there is structure.
yeah, I guess it's always better to finish it first, right? But I mean, if you learn something in there already about communication or stakeholder management, you could put it in there. So yeah, or like, you could basically say something like comfortable in Excel. Like, you could be like running projects in Excel. Also took like a Excel workshop to become an Excel master at, I don't know, VLOOKUPs or something like that, because this sometimes they do care about it. So yeah, that's pretty much. So I'd say put it in there. If you, again, anything you put in there, you just need to be able to back up if they ask you about it or they speak about it, right? So if they ask you about the course, you're like, actually, you know what? I don't know. I never finished the course. And I'm like, so what's the point, right? But if they ask you about the course, and you can actually say what the great things you learned about the course, and now you're an amazing project management or business analyst or whatever, automatically you can back it up. So I think put anything in your CV that you can comfortably back up and explain. If you're not sure how to, this is what I would do, right? So this is one step to, let's say, highlighting what your CV is. Then, and this is more for your own understanding, to understand how. And I hope I mean that you now see like, oh, actually, I do have project management skills, right? Because, well, there's so many that overlap. So this is first step. Then let's say another step would be, if I put project. Also, guys, this is how I search for my roles nowadays, because the roles on LinkedIn Apply are just so, they've disappeared so quick. So I search for keyword, then I do post, and I do latest. Or let's say if I put London. Now I'm gonna see everyone who just posted. Can you see this is just posted 5 minutes ago? So obviously, if we apply to this one, automatically we're the first people to hit them. And here what I should do is, then you click on their profile, or you Google their name, and you're able to find their contact details. So this is actually my trick, how I've been one of the first few people to find the job specs, and I've been sort of searching the posts. So now what you will do is, let's say if this is a job role, right? Senior project manager, strategic delivery. I'll copy this and I'll say, hey, can you highlight how my CV matches this job spec? What are the weaknesses? What are the strengths? How does I spell it? Why did I spell? Well, what are the strengths and what improvements? No, stop. I want to give you disrespect. You see what I mean? He's just not listening. And I'll say, please answer my previous prompt with this job spec. Can you see now he's saying you've got experience in managing multiple projects, which is critical for this role. Works in regional sales manager. As a regional sales manager, you're obviously overlooking and delegating, right, to a lot. So tracking progresses. Oh, progress and reporting. That's like a huge thing that we do. Leadership. Demonstrate his ability to lead teams, manage client relationships. Again, huge. His positions at university showcase his understanding of compliance, managing complex queries, and ensuring adherence to regulations. Can you see? So you see, and now he gives you thing. Job specification prefers or Scrum certifications, which are not mentioned in amidst CV. Obtaining these certifications could strengthen his candidacy. I'm not a huge believer that you should pay for your certifications, because if people want you, they'll pay for it. I'm more of a believer that you should be aware exactly how Scrum works, and even project will take over. When we do our, like, you know, internal work and our internal trainings, I organize it in the Scrum way, so it's like, you know, every each step, what it means, and you know what it includes, and you know, just by saying you manage something in the Scrum way in your CV, you're automatically hitting it. Don't get me wrong, sometimes they do want just the qualification, if that makes sense. I know here it says compliance sales management. He lacks specific experience in consulting, information technology, and business projects, which are highly preferred for this role. So I guess if you feel like you could somehow put stuff in here, you know, mention these keywords, that'd be good. Then again, direct experience with project management tools such as ServiceNow, Tableau, and Microsoft projects not highlighted in amidst me. Familiarize yourself with these tools could be beneficial. I know if one person sends the CV and they've done all of this, and one person mentioned 0 of these, but they might have had, I don't know, more experience in another thing, I reckon the person who knows the project management tools would win, because it just makes it easier to train people, if that makes sense. So, and you see what I mean, low-key, all you have to do is Google ServiceNow, Tableau, and Microsoft project and see what it does, or come to some trainings and learn, and start managing your life in it, or whatever, if you're currently working, your projects in there. Because yeah, it's just, I feel like project management tools are just such a good way to power your CV. So, you know, here you haven't mentioned any project management methodologies, waterfall or agile. So I would familiarize myself with waterfall and agile methodologies, especially Scrum, and you know, try and somehow fit it somewhere in your CV that you'll basically know, even if it's just, let's say, in your profile, let's say, you know, you can showcase it. So yeah, can you see here, then it gives you potential improvements. Then he actually even tailors the CV for you. So a highly experienced and motivated professional, diverse background in sales management, compliance, and high-end tailoring, adept at managing complex projects, ensuring compliance, achieving goals, leverage my experience as a student. See, I didn't really like this statement. I feel like it could be better. So what I would do is paste it and say, please improve this CV by tailoring it more to the job spec and include the improvements you have mentioned. Right? So let's see if he gives me back, because that's what I mean. Back in the day, he used to give me just straight away amazing. Now it's like I really need to go and, what did he say? See what I mean? He didn't really change it. Or then, so why didn't you put data analysis in here? You see what I mean? Or then what you can do again is take these skills and be like, ensure you add them to your profile. So it's kind of just like playing about with him and seeing what he can do. But like, you know, it's a good starting point. So, and actually guys, they got apps now that can crack if you're done it on Chat GPT and AI and stuff. So basically always kind of amend whatever you get. I haven't been doing it all the time, but they say you should always amend it tiny bit, or you know, just like at least it gives you a better starting point than, you know, where you was. And then you can, I would start dashing some of these skills in here, or PPM tools or something like that. And again, you see he actually changed your experience. So, you know, develop to execute a strategic sales plan for the London region, ensuring alignment with organizational goals, establish and maintain strong client relationships. Like, you know, these are all really skills. And then he's just going to tell you what improvements he made. So yeah, I don't know, is that making sense? And this is essentially how you structure it. Everything's Arial 10. Everything's Arial and size 10 for everywhere. Your number and email and link should be here. The title should be here. Or you can do it in the middle if you're not long. but because I'm trying to hit all of my points, I just put it from here. Your name in the middle, your personal statement. Then he said 6 to 7 lines to introduce yourself, 2 columns for skills like this, if you see what I mean. It saves space and it's easier to see. And I've been sort of, you know, if I find a role that doesn't really care about KPIs, I would change it more to the skills that they care. He told me to take out college and school qualifications. No one cares about them anymore, apparently. Just leave your university. Languages are irrelevant unless whatever you're applying for needs that language. Mention the project management methodology, certifications and achievements in the statement or work experience. So you don't need like a list like this because it's just too time consuming. PPM tools at the bottom in 2 columns like skills. So then for your experience, you know, you obviously do your role. Around 10 line paragraph describing your role, which technical tools you use, skills, experience. And he basically said, and this shouldn't be bullet points. He said all bullet points, they don't want to see that anymore. And then few achievements. So few bullet points of what you achieved. He even said some people just put completed in the project. And it's so funny because the way when I keep amending, tailoring my CVs, it's like my bullet points keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know, as applying to for public sector role, actually I think I got that wrong. I don't think no one trusts as a public sector role. I don't think so, because I googled it after, so I have to focus a lot of the job description. So let's say if you do hit loads of points in one, you need to really like emphasize it in that experience, if that makes sense. Or if it's like a specific organization, right? Or like let's say if you're applying to banking and you got one banking there, like you really need to fit a lot of the skills that you need for there. And then again, thingy, I used to be in consultancy. So, you know, just mentioning what clients I covered through consultancy, because sometimes I just feel it's easy to see, but sometimes they don't put 2 and 2 together. That's what it means. So I'll just say covered, you know, wherever I've covered in there, mention one of the achievements I got, mention client certification, and then, you know, my HSBC one, and again, and then here I got my PPM tools, but these should be mentioned throughout. Again, these are hard to mention all the way through. So, for example, I might have 3 main ones in my profile summary thingy, right? And you know, here he told me to mention these throughout your CV and take them out. And education, sort of just leave university because it just saves you space. So this is sort of the template that he ended up amending my CV to. And I'm not gonna lie guys, when I have been opening my CV, I do see the difference in the structure. And to be honest, he said any recruiter that asked for like, hi, do you like my CV, what do I need to change? He said it's actually one of the better structures they have seen. So again, I think it's really good. And again, since I amended my CV with him, my callback rate has increased. So this is it. If you guys want, actually, let me do this.